Howdy all, welcome to Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright, so, uh, last episode we made it into this two-story bookstore, which is awesome. And, I cleaned it out, and so, today we're gonna go ahead and give her a little look-see through here. See if we can find anything good. Nope. This is a little weird to me. They got boxes. Bookstore box, huh? Nope. I feel like I'm probably approaching, you know, all the recipes. Not quite there yet, but approaching. Ooh, I should also take some painkillers here. Oh, look. Where did you come from? He is standing over the body of a zombie I killed earlier. It's a little weird. Okay, those are searched. I guess we go this way. 6 one way, half dozen the other, right? So... yeah, I guess I usually talk about my... I already got that one. Usually talk about our Tuesday night D&D game. Actually went pretty smooth this week. There were only a couple of times we got into an argument with our DM. I mentioned before, but he complains a lot about how powerful we are. And then he came up with this harebrained scheme to force us to fight our way through the town that is not part of the main quest. And, oh, I didn't have that one. And so, all he did was push us up a level, so now we're like a level higher than we're supposed to be when we get to the cave. And, which is the end of the quest we're on. We didn't get all the way through it, but we got, well, we got about, I'd say a third of the way through it. Ah. And, but, he, I mentioned before, and it drives me crazy, he, on a whim alters the rules sometimes, usually against us, and but in favor of his character. And we had another one of those incidences Thursday night, or Tuesday night. Tonight's Thursday night. And yeah, I'll be playing with him again tonight, only someone else is the DM. I swear I just saw something back there move. Weird. I think my in-the-game guy is hallucinating. And, so, we got to this section of the cave, and there's, mushrooms all over the floor. And so, we were debating what to do, whether we should enter the room or not, and so we, the sorcerer who's on the team with us, there's a fireball into the room, and when the fireball hits the mushrooms, they burst into spores, right? They release spores in the air, and so I'm very careful not to use what I know most of the time, and so I was more than willing... Oh, did I make it all the way around? I did, I made it all the way around. Alright, well we still got another floor to go, which is awesome. So down we shall go. Maybe we'll get lucky and there'll be some, oh, that's unlocked. Whoop! Oh! Dang, Crawley. And because he's always changing things, like altering the rules and stuff, I tend to play with the rule books and campaign guide open. Because, like, here's an example. So we get into general store, and in the campaign guide, it gives it gives a list of all the things that you find if you search the general store. And so one of our characters searched the general store. Up to that point, anytime something nice was found, his character found it. And so since then, it's not been quite as bad, but the village was one of the worst spots I felt, because we in fact, I believe the village is where I first started looking in the book. So maybe it was worse before and I just didn't know it. But he accused me of reading the book every week, and then I finally started just reading the book. I mean, if he's going to accuse me, then I might as well look in the book. It didn't change any of my decisions, or what I did, so I don't know what difference that makes. It just lets me know what he's changing. And so like we go into the place, and the first place we get to is empty. I'm like, all right. Second place we get to is empty. I'm like, okay. Third place we get to, empty. And then suddenly he says, I'm going to search the fourth place. And so when he searches the fourth place, and he rolls his dice so we can't see. One fight, he rolled his dice, and they rolled terrible every time. And so he said he was no longer going to roll his dice so we could see them. And he has rolled his dice hidden, which is fine for the DM, but he also does it for his character. And so I really think he's just picking numbers out of the air as often as he dodges or hits things or gets first on the... because he adds 5 to his initiative, but my guy also adds 5 to the initiative. And I think I was only first on initiative one time Tuesday night, and his guy was first like 7 times. Which I know could happen, just bad run of the dice, but he's almost always at the top of the initiative. He's almost never at the bottom. And when he attacks, my character... nice. My character has 20 armor now, and whenever a bad guy attacks, they always hit over 20, pretty much. There was a point last night he must have been rolling because it felt pretty even. Like I said, last night was pretty good. But anyways, so when his guy searched, he suddenly found our first treasure, and then he didn't search again until we got to the general store. And when we got to the general store, we searched, and he gave us like some small... Oh no, I think he said we didn't find anything. And then the next building over, he searched, and when he searched, which in the book is an empty building, he somehow found all the stuff that was listed as general store loot. So... Dude, where'd you come from? And so last night, like I said, we get to the thing. The other time this happened was when I tried to jump a pit, and the rules say if you take 10 feet of movement before you jump, and we knew the pit was there. I wasn't trying to jump over something I couldn't see or wasn't aware of. I was trying to jump over a pit that had already been sprung open. And so the rules say you can jump the distance of your strength score. Now he told us the pit was 10 feet across, and this is way earlier. This is way back at the beginning of the game. This was the first instance, and the pit's 10 feet across. My guy has a strength score of 18, meaning I can make a running long jump of 18 feet. So 18 is much larger. Oh. Sorry guys, I gotta go get this thing. It might have some really good stuff in it. I'll be back though, because my bed is right there, locking my position. Oh man, I could really use some meat off that deer too. I'll maybe get you on. He's faster than this bike. This bike is so slow. I can't even kill a zombie with it. So I tell him what I want to do. We look up the rules because we're fairly new to the game, and I've never made a running long jump before. And so I read the rules out of the player's guide out loud. And then he makes me roll 3 different dice checks to make sure that I can make it. Which now he is the DM, so, you know, that would be a thing. But the rules, which he said we were going to follow, do not have any of that. Alright, so I already read that one. Ooh, we'll take that. I'll take those for sure. Hey, antibiotics. How did you know? Not as good as I was hoping, but I'll take it. Now I need to go find that deer again so I can get some meat. Ooh, here's a deer. It's not the button I wanted to push. It's okay. Did I hit it? Seriously? I hit you with an iron crossbow bolt. It's like a super deer. I know my bike is way back there, but I'm faster than my bike, so... Oh, come on, deer. Holy crap, that deer is just like... out of here. Nope. There we go. So, hey, did I not take antibiotics? Did antibiotics not cure you now? Alright, you think that was the deer I saw earlier, or is that one still up over here? I'm not really sure where I came through here, but... So, yeah, so it makes me roll 3 checks. Now, there are rules in the book about checks if the way is hazardous terrain, or if you're leaping over a small wall, or things like that. But I wasn't leaping over anything but just flat ground, from flat ground. You know, my guy's 6 feet tall. I can jump 3 feet high. So I don't know what's going on. But and then his character and his cousin's character, who plays with us, basically just walked around the edge. And so then we get to this mushroom room, and so the sorcerer casts a fireball. Fireball causes spores to explode into the air. And so I'm like, If it's spores, we probably don't want to breathe those in. And so... we should run through holding our breath, is what I said. I'd actually opted not to go in the room once the spores were released in the air. I didn't really care one way or the other. I just knew that if you go through the room, it causes you to take, I want to say 3d8 damage from the spores. But spores are airborne, so unless it's some kind of acid spore, which what happened here? I'm just not seeing the point where I think I searched everything in here. I need to get to a place that has food. Let's see if we can find food. Go check these houses over here. Although I did kill that deer. Do I have stone on me? I do. I have a bunch of stone on me. Let's make a campfire. Oh. I didn't bring anything to cook with, though. Can you just, like, ruin meat? You can. Alright. Let's just do that. Char me up some meat. And so, so I have to look up the rules on how to hold your breath, because I've never done it before. And so, from where we were at to the other tunnel was only like 60 feet across. And 60 feet is, in the game, 6 seconds worth of time. And going by combat rules. And so we're like, well, my guy can one character can hold his breath for 4 minutes, one character can hold their breath for 3 minutes, one character can hold their breath for 1 minute, or the other two characters can hold their breath for, 3 or 1 minute. All of that is plenty of time to make it across this tunnel. And, no. We have to roll checks. And I'm like, well, is the acidic? He's like, no, but you have to see if you can hold your breath as you run. Okay, but that's not how the rules work. Again, you're changing the rules to try and damage the players. A lot like he did that stupid, oh, you know what? He rolled ones again this week, but I wasn't standing next to him, and he did not roll a d20 to see if it critted or not. He's only done that one time, and only when my guy was next to him. Okay, I'm not... I should probably drink, too, while I'm here. And so then we get going, and we get through there, everybody passes their check, so that was fine. Nobody took any spore damage. And so then, we make it all the way because of the direction we took. We make it to, the bad guy's place. I kind of want to go in and check this place right here before I move too far, just in case there's some goodies. I do want to get over to that next town, though, and see what's out that way. Out. That's not my accent. I don't know why that came out like that. So basically, there's this thing, and I've mentioned it many times. And it's kind of a habit for me now. It's also the way you're supposed to solve mazes. It just is a thing. And that is... oh, look at you up there in the overhead. Oh, look at all these zombies in the overhead. That's cool. Were you hiding up there to try and stay away from the zombies? And they got you anyways? Whoa. Whoa, hazmat guy. Where'd you come from, hazmat guy? Hazmat boots. I mean, I assume this place is going to be full of zombies when I first come in here. I hear you. Oh, I see a zombie trying to sleep up here. Okay. They have the crappiest bathrooms in this place. I also really like that there's like this giant hole in the wall. Like, I don't know what to do about that. That's like, you know, you guys can just open the door, right? I didn't mean to crouch down, dang it. I was trying to run and I pushed the wrong button. So, anyways, so we cross around, okay, I read this article once, right, that's what I was talking about how, people choose things based on their dominant hand. And so a right-handed person will most often choose right. And it was actually an article on game map designs. And so because the predominant number of people in the world are right-handed, it's a higher chance that the person designing the map for the game you're in will have been right-handed. So in their mind, they want to put the goal of the map as far away from the right as possible because they would choose right. And so their subconscious just says, we'll put it on the left. And so because of that, I usually choose left when I enter anything. I don't know if it really makes a difference, because I usually wind up searching the entire section regardless of what goes on. But it's just a thing that always stuck with me. And then when you solve a maze, right, you're supposed to pick a wall and just follow that wall. And so the way we play with a map, but you know, I don't really want either of those. I'm not sure about this compound bow yet. But because we play online, he uses tools to black out the map so that we can't see what's going on. And as I've said before, because he's lazy when it comes to blacking out the map, he often overwrites things that shouldn't be blacked out for where we're at, which can often make our decisions incorrect, which I hate, because if I knew what was going on, I'd make a different decision. Let me rephrase that. If I knew what the room actually looked like, I would probably make a different decision based on the actual shape of the room and not the part of the room I could see. So, for example, in the one place we went to, he was an NPC who was with us, and he told us to make sure that we move quietly on the opposite side of the room. And so because we couldn't see that into the room because it was covered in gray, I assumed that it was a path. And so we didn't search the room because we didn't want to alert the people. We didn't want to alert the people that we were there. But it turned out there wasn't a path. It was a room, and he just had the back wall of the room covered over with the gray stuff. And when he told us to go through there quietly, he just meant that down a totally different hallway were some bad guys. They weren't in the room, and so we didn't find that out until after everything was over. And there was a secret wall there that would have let us get into the boss earlier than we did. And but we couldn't have known it was there because we couldn't see the wall, and we didn't even know the wall existed because of his descriptions. And so we're going along last night. We actually get to the boss of the map. He is not happy because we stuck to the right side. We wound up hitting the 3 major, which totally is the opposite of my whole article that I just discussed. We hit the 3 major hot points of the dungeon. Okay, 8,200. So, is the axe better on this? Definitely. And so we get to the boss's room, and we're like, okay, so what are we gonna do? And because this is what's described to us. The room is full of bad guys, but they haven't noticed us. And so the sorcerer is like, well, I want to shoot my lightning spell at him. And he said, well, I'm not going to let you all get a surprise round on the boss, and that's fine. Usually only get like 1 surprise attack, and I'm fine letting the other guy take the surprise attack. I play a lot of D&D. I think this is his only D&D, so I let him kind of lead the way and stuff, and let him have, the big decisions and stuff. And so we get there, and like I said, he tells us we get 1 surprise attack on the bad guys because they haven't noticed us. And he rolls to see if the main bad guy notices us, and he doesn't notice us. And so then he said you get 1 surprise attack, and I'm like, well, when he casts his spell, I want to cast a spell called Spirit Guardians, and so he's like, well, like I said, 1 attack. I'm like, well, it's not an attack. He's like, oh, well, if it's not an attack, it's fine then. And I'm like, yeah, it's Spirit Guardians. It's a guardian spirit spell. And so he's like, okay, well, that'd be fine. I'm like, all right. And so the other guy cast his lightning spell, and then he says, and the black spider, you go cast your lightning spell, and it just fizzles, and you notice the black spider is now looking at you. And we're like, what? And he's like, yeah, he cast counterspell. And we're like, but you said he didn't notice us, and that we were going to get an attack before a surprise attack. Well, I feel like he's a high-level caster, and so he would be able to tell when someone was casting a spell near him. And so I rolled, and he succeeded in noticing you were there. But you already rolled and said that he didn't notice us. That makes you a liar, we said. You're right, fine, I'm a liar. But you're still not getting to cast the spell. I'm like, so he counteracted the lightning, but not the Spirit Guardians, because who knows, maybe he's just going to have counterspell fizzle all spells at that point, And he's like, no, just the 1. I'm like, all right. So then we roll initiative, which starts the fight. And then comes the great moment for me for the night, is that he's already not happy because we're trouncing everything. But like I said, he made us go up a level with his I'm not going to let you come back later and interact with these NPCs. I'm going to make sure they're all dead so there's no one left for you to talk to like you said you were going to. And so because he pushed us up to level 5, that gave me level 3 spells. And so Spirit Guardians is a level 3 spell, and it turns out it was pretty awesome. He put down like 2, 6, 7 bad guys in the final room. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be. Probably is. I didn't look, and so we get in there, and oh, awesome! I got a better engine. Now maybe my bike will move faster than me. And so after rolling initiative, I rolled to go first, and or second I think, and well, technically first and second because he had me play 2 characters because he was afraid 3 characters couldn't handle it, and so I mean it is designed for 4 characters, and so I get in there with my first character. I get as far as I can with my second character, and then he goes over the spell with me because he's not sure exactly what it does. Because it's a new spell. It's the first time I've ever cast it. I've never actually used it before or seen anyone use it before. So what it does is anyone who starts their turn or enters a space within 15 feet of my character, their movement is halved, and they take either 3d8 worth of damage or half of that, depending on whether they succeed on their check. And so between my rogue and my cleric, I kill one of the spiders that was in the room, and then it's their turn. And then he's like, "Well, these guys are smart enough to take advantage," because he once earlier didn't use flanking because he said the things weren't smart enough to use flanking, even though they would have just both attacked him, and he had them attack other people so that his character didn't get hurt, which is an annoying thing he does. And I'm pretty sure he did it last night too, but I've basically given up. Oh, he did. He totally did. He was standing between like 6 skeletons, and 4 of the 6 skeletons walked past him to get to other people. Yeah. But, oh man, I gotta finish this soon. And so, yeah, I need to interact with you. Oh, shoot. You know what? That made it out of gas. Can I turn this into gas? I can. I can't. Oh, I don't have the recipe for gas. Aw, well that sucks. Okay, let's unload some things here. And let's take a look. Oh, so much better. So much faster. Oh, and then I missed. I know, I'm disappointed in myself too. All I wanted to do was smash a zombie, and I missed. Alright, now I'm pretty sure I was trying to... Yes, I want to head out this way to get to that next. Looks like a city over there. But the road doesn't exist. I see. And then the city disappeared because now it's on far. At least for a few feet. And now it's on desert. So he moves the characters. He just picks him up and puts him next to my guy. The bugbears in the room after I cast Spirit Guardians. I'm like, dude, they can't move that far. And he's like, yeah, they can. I'm like, okay, well, they can, but then that one doesn't get to attack. He's like, no, it can move 30 feet. That's 30 feet. I'm like, no, it entered Spirit Guardians. It can only move half. And so they couldn't get to me, and then they rolled bad, which was shocking because I expected everything just to wail on me like it normally does. But no, nothing really hit me. And then he's got this love of magic missiles now that he seems to use all the time. And so he used magic missiles to try and break it. And I guess I need to read up on magic missiles before someone I DM for uses it, or I use it against someone I DM for, because he cast magic missiles and made me roll 4 Constitution checks, and I'm pretty sure it should only been 1 to see if Spirit Guardians went down. But he had me roll 4. I didn't argue, I just did it. But I succeeded all 4. I actually rolled a 20 on the first one, which was my only crit of the entire night. And it's not even a crit at that point, it's just a thing. Crit only happens on attacks. Well, no, he has this thing I don't like where he... a 20 gets plus 10 to the roll, so a 20 is actually a 30, which I don't understand the point. It could just be a 20. Why make it a 30? It doesn't matter. I'm a little disappointed in the lack of stores in this town. Please don't be any... Oh, man. Yeah, so... There were some shenanigans, but for the most part, we did pretty good, and we wiped out the first boss that we came to pretty easily. We actually talked the second one into leaving. The sorcerer did that, and then we managed to take out the black spider, who actually is the main bad guy for the game, and so now we just gotta clean up the rest of the dungeon next week, and then we will be done with Philandrin, the very first starter quest, which he wanted to run. And then he doesn't know what he's going to run next, because I don't think he's going to homebrew it like I do for my Sundays. I think he wants to stick with pre-built campaigns, so he's been... Well, I don't know how hard he's been looking, but... like if he also DMs for another group apparently, and they're running the same thing we do. So it sounds like he puts more work into theirs than he does into ours. And so I'd assume he already knows, or because they're not as far along as we are, he has no idea where they're going next either. We're basically the trial run before he does it for the other group, it feels like. I just wish he'd stop randomly switching rules around. Anyways, I've gone on too long, so click like if you like, subscribe, be sure and catch the next one. This is a terrible town. I, with my new faster bike, will talk to you later.